You smell something?
Skunk Works. A group with a high degree of autonomy and unhampered by bureaucracy. This is Skunk Works.
Watch the Skunk Works Show live right now at skunkworkshow.com.
The Skunk Works Show, powered by Iron Laboratories.
Welcome. I'm your host today, Ryan. You're listening to the Skunk Works Show. Sitting in with us today is Chelsea, Alicia, and Melissa. You can watch us every weekend from 4 to 5 p.m. at skunkworkshow.com. That's right. You can watch us live at skunkworkshow.com. We have a full tray for you today. Here's Alicia with the rundown.
Hi, I'm Alicia. On today's show, we have the news, Man on the Street, a new 420 song of the week, Stacy and the Cannabis, our interview of the week, Robin with National Patients' Rights Association, and Justin Jenkins with the Seattle, Washington update.
All right, so we got a full studio. We've got a full phone tray too. Everybody seems to be a call-in today. It's the beginning of a holiday weekend. Why don't you go ahead and say hello, Chelsea? Chelsea's our news person. She's sitting here to my right. How's it going?
It's going good. I'm sweating today. It's hot out. I'm exhausted, but glad to be here. Good to see you guys.
Hot and sticky.
Good to see you, too.
How's it going over there, Alicia? Alicia's sitting in with us today.
It's going wonderful. I love this heat. I'm not complaining.
It's a little too sticky for me. I sleep with my air conditioner on full blast until little penguins are shooting out of it. I'd rather be cuddled up in my warm blanket than sweaty from the heat and the mugginess. We've got Melissa sitting over there. Does Melissa want to say anything?
Hello, Melissa.
Oh, I thought you were going to say anything. We went to Canada to the fireworks on Monday,
How
or the
was
Detroit
that?
fireworks. It was excellent. We were, I don't know, we left at like 3 o'clock from Waterford, and it takes about an hour, to get downtown, so we get there, and I had prepped the ladies. Neither of them had been to Canada. I don't think Alicia had ever been, and Melissa hadn't been for a long, long time. So I'm like, when we go to the border, guy, be careful about what you say and don't say. Use yes or no questions. So I had my passport, my driver's license, their IDs, and we pull up, and the guy's like, how's it going? I'm like, here, pretty good. And I gave him everybody's IDs, and he's like, what are y'all doing? And I said, we're here for the fireworks and for some casino action. And
Nice.
he goes, so who's with you? And I said, just me and the 3 girls.
Oh, no.
And the guy looked at me like,
Where's the other girl you're hiding?
2 girls and you. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just a big girl, too. It was funny. Now, here's the backside of that. So we're in Canada. We watch the fireworks. Everything's fun. We lose our money at the casino. And, we come home. And on the way home, I didn't drive because I had chemical alterated my brain function. So I did not want to drive home. So Alicia drives. And, I got the IDs. And I'm ready to hand them to her. And the guy was so dry. It's like, we're citizens. I live in this country. I have a passport. They have enhanced driver's license. And he was just so rigid and dry that, where do you live? We live in Waterford. What do you do for work? Well, I work for radio, and she's a waitress, and she's, not working currently. And what was his other question, Alicia? He asked another question. Oh, he started asking about what we had in the bags and stuff. But he was just real dry, not very fun. And the Canadian guy was so much more fun. So it's easy to get into Canada, but hard to come home.
Skunk Works Show live on
Sounds like a good time.
skunkworkshow.com.
We're going to break.
The
We'll be
Skunk
back in
Works
2 minutes.
Show, powered by Iron Laboratories.
At Iron Laboratories, our mission is to apply the highest scientific standards to the testing of medical marijuana and derivative cannabis-based products. Iron Laboratories achieves this through the strict application of and adherence to methodologies that have been developed in research, regulatory, and academic settings. Consumer safety directs everything we do at Iron Laboratories. Our role as providers of product information to patients, caregivers, and producers is critical. The purity of the medicines that you put in your body is critically important, and we value the trust you put in us to evaluate and accurately report on these products. In addition, Iron Laboratories will continue to contribute to the industry knowledge base, setting benchmarks and establishing norms to create safer cannabis products. Give us a call at 248-313-9000 or visit our website at ironlaboratories.com. Again, that's 248-313-9000, ironlaboratories.com.
Folks, here's some food for thought. Every year, over 400,000 people die of illness related to tobacco use. Over 80,000 die from alcohol use. Over 30,000 die from reactions related to prescription medication. And more than 7,000 people die from the use of anti-inflammatory drugs such as aspirin. Aspirin. Do you know how many die from the use of marijuana? 0. No deaths can be directly linked to the use of cannabis. That makes it one of the safest substances available for medical use. Michigan Organic Solutions, Flint's premier medical marijuana consultants, is now offering compassionate doctor referrals. Get licensed for only $99. You only pay if you qualify. No medical records are required. Located at 3549 South Dort Highway, Suite 117, just across from the Dort Mall. Call 810-820-8953 or go online to make your appointment at www.miorganicsolutions.com. Consultations are free and your privacy is guaranteed. Log on now to www.miorganicsolutions.com.
The real estate market is moving full speed ahead, so don't be left behind. Remember Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim Nowak with Century 21 Town and Country, and I'm here to help you whether you're buying your first home or thinking of selling and moving on up. Let me guide you in the right direction. Call me at 248-835-2992. Again, it's 248-835-2992, and my focus will be on your needs. Remember Kim.
The Skunk Works Show, powered by Iron Laboratories.
Attention all units, this is Sergeant Stadenko. Attention all units, this is Sergeant Stadenko. We are changing from a Code 3 direct pursuit to a Code 347. Completely lost due to incompetence.
All right, we're back. So you heard our traveling story of the week, and I guess the moral is you can play in Canada and have fun with their immigration guys, but you don't want to do that if you're a citizen in the United States because they just aren't tolerating any fun.
They're no fun at all.
They are not fun, but be respectful always. So let's see. Now we're going to do the news. So now here's Chelsea with the news brought to you by the Michigan Medical Marijuana Report.
Thank you, Ryan. In the news this week, pot advocates delivered petitions for Oregon ballot. This past Thursday, sponsors of recreational marijuana traveled to Salem to turn in boxes stuffed with signed petitions. The sponsors collected over 140,000 signatures. That was 50,000 more than required. I am humbled and excited and just pleased to help represent this new approach to marijuana, said Anthony Johnson, the initiative's chief petitioner. It's unlikely we'll be challenged, said Peter Zuckerman, a spokesman for the group, but you never know. In other news, the House passes an amendment to block Washington, D.C. decriminalization of marijuana. On Wednesday, the House Committee on Appropriations passed an amendment that would make it impossible for the District of Columbia to lessen penalties for marijuana possession. Under the rider, the city would not be able to spend any money to implement policies to lower penalties for marijuana possession. In November, the voters may be able to vote for full legalization. However, this amendment could block the district from implementing such a law. In other news, Hillary Clinton leaves the door open on marijuana legalization. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said Colorado and Washington are laboratories of democracy. We still need to see how it works out. and medical marijuana bill out of Pennsylvania's Senate committee. A Senate committee unanimously approved a bill this Friday that would legalize the use of marijuana for medical purposes for patients with certain medical conditions. But while proponents of medical marijuana celebrated the future of the bill was uncertain, most GOP leaders in the House oppose it. Obviously, some members support it, but the vast majority of members in our caucus believe the states should not be in the business of deciding what is or is not medicine. That's what the FDA can and does do, said Steve Miskin, spokesman for House Majority Leader Mike Turzai, a Republican from Allegheny. And in local news, the City of Flint City Council is hearing a medical marijuana ordinance. The Flint City Council met on Monday, June 24th, and it did not appear that anyone spoke up against the proposed changes to the ordinance governing medical marijuana dispensaries. Council President Scott Kincaid told the public that City Council wouldn't take any action following the mandated public hearings. The Flint Planning Commission will make a recommendation on the proposed changes and send the measure back to City Council. Kincaid said for public comment 3 different times that the hearings will continue, but no one will speak up on such matters. And in other local news, a medical marijuana moratorium in Fenton could be nearing an end after 4 years. A 4-year moratorium on medical marijuana could be nearing an end, opening the door for legal distribution in the city. City Manager Lynn Markland said the City Council could soon begin drafting a zoning ordinance for the use and/or sale of medical marijuana at its July 7th meeting. Residents holding their medical marijuana cards are currently allowed to use and carry authorized amounts of marijuana in Fenton, according to Michigan law, but the moratorium stops the distribution. I think what we'll be doing is proposing something to the City Council that they can consider approving for probably zoning, he said. In February, the Michigan Supreme Court invalidated the City of Wyoming's ordinance that strictly regulated medical marijuana, and the city had to rewrite an ordinance regarding growth and use of it. And I am Chelsea, and that was the news, brought to you by the Triple M Report.
All right, so there's some interesting things. I like Hillary Clinton. She seems to have an open mind. She wants to be president, so of course she's going to say whatever is going to turn on people. And right now, people are all about marijuana in the United States. It's the new automobile, the new horseless carriage, or whatever they might say.
And possibly, proposing a different agenda in lieu of her recent issues in Washington probably isn't a bad idea. Take the heat off of some other things a little bit. Rightfully so.
The money thing, they're poor.
That's true. Money talks also.
Here's the thing, she made a comment about being poor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, she was poor. They were in debt, I think it was $1 million or $2 million. So when rich people are poor, versus real poor people with nothing, I mean, people laugh at them, but in their minds, that's poor. If you're in debt, even though you have assets,
sure.
If that's your lifestyle, that's what you think, so it's kind of your point of view. From her point of view, what she said was accurate.
Sure.
And, of course, all the GOP are going to jump on her and, she doesn't understand regular folks because she's rich. Well, yes and no. Like I said, I think it was taken out of context, and she was poor in her mind. So, you know what? Whatever. We'll see how it goes for Hillary.
We'll see.
We also got to talk about real quick our Song of the Week. We do have the contest still going.
Sure.
So, anybody that wants to call in, our number is 810-743-8255. Once again, grab a pen, and I'm going to give you that number again. It's 810-743-8255. When our Song of the Week plays now, call us, tell us what last week's song is, and you can win a prize pack from OG Smokes in Waterford off Cass Lake Road. They've got a nice $100 prize pack with a vape pen and some other cool things. So give us a call and, see if you can be the winner chicken dinner. So we haven't had a winner yet, and we've been doing this 2 weeks. So I just wanted to make sure we got that number out there again.
I sense a jingle with this phone number coming on real soon. We're going to have to put a jingle to it or something, get some people to call in.
You know what? People are afraid to call us. I don't know why. We had that guy, Steve, 2 weeks ago, Steve called us and had some cool things to say. But, you know, people don't call in because, I don't know, maybe they don't think they're going to get a hold of us, or maybe they don't want to win because they're scared.
Free stuff is awesome.
I know. I'd call in. I want to go there and say, hey.
I know. Can I just call real quick?
Yeah, let's pretend. It's a $100 prize pack. Get on it. So our 420 song will be up in about a minute, so definitely give us a call one more time, 810-743-8255. Tell us what last week's song is, and you can win that prize pack. Let's see, what else is going on? The Pennsylvania thing that you read there,
yeah.
Pennsylvania is an ultra-conservative state. I mean, it's funny because they're in the Northeast. They're surrounded by, you know, Michigan, New York, and New Jersey, and those are all pretty liberal places. And then you have this Pennsylvania Dutch conservative, you know, you get into Philly, and it's close to the East Coast, and those people are really, you know, wild and liberal, but most of Pennsylvania is ultra-conservative, so that was a real surprise when I came across that story.
Well, I've noticed that also. There's a few other states that I'll be touching base on next week, ultra-conservative. You know, they're passing a lot of CBD-only legislation. I think there's some 12 states that have CBD-only, which in the case of a conservative state, that's a start, so we'll see where it goes.
No, there's Sniffer telling everybody the song's coming up. Once again, I know I've been beating a dead horse here, but it's 810-743-8255. Let's listen to a little Frank Zappa.
Nice.
At the tone, the time will be 4:20. Exactly.
I might be moving to Montana soon, just to raise me up a crop of dental floss. Raising my long legs and so slow. Just me and the pygmy pony over by the dental floss. And then I might just jump back on and ride like a cowboy into the dawn to Montana.
Submit your request for a 420 Song of the Week at skunkworkshow.com.
The Skunk Works Show, powered by Iron Laboratories.
Folks, here's some food for thought. Every year, over 400,000 people die of illness related to tobacco use. Over 80,000 die from alcohol use. Over 30,000 die from reactions related to prescription medication. And more than 7,000 people die from the use of anti-inflammatory drugs such as aspirin. Aspirin. Do you know how many die from the use of marijuana? 0. No deaths can be directly linked to the use of cannabis. That makes it one of the safest substances available for medical use. Michigan Organic Solutions, Flint's premier medical marijuana consultants, is now offering compassionate doctor referrals. Get licensed for only $99. You only pay if you qualify. No medical records are required. Located at 3549 South North Highway, Suite 117, just across from the Dord Mall. Call 810-820-8953 or go online to make your appointment at www.miorganicsolutions.com. Consultations are free and your privacy is guaranteed. Log on now to www.miorganicsolutions.com.
The real estate market is moving full speed ahead, so don't be left behind. Remember Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim Nowak with Century 21 Town & Country, and I'm here to help you whether you're buying your first home or thinking of selling and moving on up. Let me guide you in the right direction. Call me at 248-835-2992. Again, it's 248-835-2992, and my focus will be on your needs. Remember Kim.
At Iron Laboratories, our mission is to apply the highest scientific standards to the testing of medical marijuana and derivative cannabis-based products. Iron Laboratories achieves this through the strict application of and adherence to methodologies that have been developed in research, regulatory, and academic settings. Consumer safety directs everything we do at Iron Laboratories. Our role as providers of product information to patients, caregivers, and producers is critical. The purity of the medicines that you put in your body is critically important, and we value the trust you put in us to evaluate and accurately report on these products. In addition, Iron Laboratories will continue to contribute to the industry knowledge base, setting benchmarks and establishing norms to create safer cannabis products. Give us a call at 248-313-9000 or visit our website at ironlaboratories.com. Again, that's 248-313-9000, ironlaboratories.com.
The Skunk Works Show, powered by Iron Laboratories.
Attention all units, attention all units, this is Sergeant Stadenko. Attention all units, this is Sergeant Stadenko. We are changing from a Code 3 direct pursuit to a Code 347. Completely lost due to incompetence.
All right, we are back. That was a cool 420 song. Hey,
That was awesome.
a little unusual. I'm like, Frank Zappa, huh? My buddy Kevin picked that out, and I'm like, oh boy.
Nice choice.
After I heard it, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So
It was pretty groovy.
he comes up with some really good stuff. We've got the Man on the Street coming up here, and I know that's a favorite. Everybody likes that. We were in Detroit last Saturday night.
Nice.
And here it is.
On Detroit, this is Ryan, of course, with the Skunk Works Show, and I'm standing here with...
This is Delon.
Where are you from, Delon?
I'm from Taylor.
How long have you lived in Michigan?
10 years.
Did you know Michigan has a medical marijuana law?
Oh, yes, I'm aware of that.
Have you seen any positive or negative effects since the implementation of the medical marijuana law?
I've been really too keen on it, even though I'm in medicine. I was basically just neutral.
The country seems to be taking a more relaxed look at marijuana, and it looks like maybe it could become legal for recreation in other places besides Colorado and Washington. Do you think that's a good or a bad thing?
I think it's a bad thing because it could be like a gateway drug. That's what I'm concerned about. People using marijuana and then moving on to other things, potentially more dangerous, such as cocaine and heroin. So I think it should be controlled still, to some extent.
So you're okay with medical cannabis, just not recreational?
I actually don't know much about it. I am more for conventional medicine because I was a chemist, so I'm more for rational design and all that stuff. I think we can extract the essential ingredients from herbs and go that way. It's safer rather than using the natural herb. I mean, it might sound anti-naturopathic. I'm not necessarily, but as a chemist, that's my position.
Thank you very much for your time. We got Windsor as a backdrop, and I'm standing with
Sterling Turner of Detroit, Michigan.
How long have you lived in Detroit?
Oh, all my life. I love it here. I thought about moving down to Charlotte, but in Texas. By the time I'm going to stick it out here in Detroit, I got faith in us, and we're going to turn this thing around.
Did you know that Michigan has a medical marijuana law?
I didn't know that.
In 2008, the voters voted 63% to have Michigan medical marijuana be approved. In 2009, they started issuing state cards.
Now, why do they have that approved? Do people want to smoke it because of their, what do they call it, like the cataracts, or do they want to do it to get high? What is the reason of them approving it, is what I would like to know.
I think that you have a mixed bag there.
A mixed bag there? Yeah, because I know some people, I think that's kind of like a cop-out. I think some people take marijuana for reasons of getting high. Just like as we're down here right now, you can kind of smell marijuana in the air, and there's kind of some rowdiness. I'm not against having a good time, but you can sense some rowdiness in the air, so I think that kind of contributes to a lot of the fights and things like that. So I would like to know what exactly is the reason of them legalizing marijuana.
Did you know that Detroit, your home, actually has a decriminalization, which means adults 21 and over can possess up to an ounce of marijuana and get nothing more than a ticket, a paper fine?
I did not know that. Is it what age? There can be any age also?
21 and over.
21 and over. That's ridiculous. I think no, that's flat out ridiculous. How do you? They only get a ticket?
Just a ticket.
I don't agree with that at all. I think that's absolutely absurd. And if you guys are doing this video to get this law overturned, please do so, because I think that's absolutely absurd. Do you know marijuana kills your brain cells? I saw what it's done to my friend. In all seriousness, he used to really smoke marijuana, and now when I talk to him now, his speech is real slurred, and I mean he can barely even talk now because he used to smoke so much of marijuana. So that's absurd.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome.
I'm standing here with
Kimberly Jones.
Where are you from, Kimberly?
Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania.
What are you doing in Detroit today?
Just visiting.
Are you here for the Riverwalk event?
Yes.
How long are you in town for?
A day. Tomorrow.
Have you been to Michigan before?
No, we haven't been.
Did you know that Michigan has a medical marijuana law?
I heard that this morning.
Nice. Pennsylvania, where you're from, you don't have such a law, is that correct?
No, not yet.
Do you think medical marijuana is a good thing? Do you think it should be something that people can use if they need it?
Yes, I do.
Do you see that the change in the United States with Colorado and Washington leading the way, do you think marijuana might be more acceptable or even legalized in the next 5 or 10 years?
I do.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
So you're not against adults using marijuana in a responsible way?
No, I'm not.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
This is Skunk Works.
All right, that was another episode of Man on the Street. Right now we have our guest of the week, Robin, with the National Patients' Rights Association. Robin, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm really good.
Good.
It's a beautiful
Thank you for
summer
having
day.
me on the show.
Absolutely. You know, you're one of the people that are making things happen. I see your name. I'm part of the Safer Mish, which for all our listeners, I'll get into what that is a little later. But I always see your name in Safer Mish. I always see that you're involved in all these movements. So what I want you to do is just give me a little bit of background on how you got into the medical marijuana movement.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to. I was about 5 years ago after the law had passed, and I was dependent. I had a spinal cord injury, and I was dependent on pharmaceutical medications to control the pain, including Vicodin and Flexeril muscle relaxers. But I have 4 children, so I found that the side effects from the pharmaceutical drugs were very, it made it very difficult for me to function. And it was recommended that I try to wean off of the pharmaceutical drugs and try the medical marijuana. And I used like the topical oil on my back. And that provided me a lot of relief, so I was able to sleep through the night. And within 30 days, I weaned off of all pharmaceutical drugs, and I've been free from them for the last 5 years. So I was really grateful, and I got started doing little educational seminars in Lansing on medical marijuana, and everything from speaking at local city council meetings to meeting with our prosecutor. So I got started at a local level in my own community in Lansing, and a group came to me and asked me if I would do some work on a state level, and I said okay. I said absolutely, and so it's been quite a journey, not really something that I ever planned on, but I certainly enjoy the work that I'm doing. I think it's a great cause.
Excellent. The National Patients' Rights Organization. Now, is that Michigan-based? Is that a national organization?
We do have members in other states as well, and we work with especially a lot of the parent groups. I know that we've worked on legislation in several other states, from Minnesota. We've worked with the parents in New York, Florida. So we have spent a lot of time. I know Marijuana Policy Project included one of our position papers in a package for various Senate bills that were pending in other states. So we're definitely involved in other states, but we're based in Detroit, and so obviously our main focus is Michigan.
Excellent. Now, I understand that you meet with Senator Randy Richardville quite often. There's a vote that everybody's kind of waiting on. I believe it's 4271. What could you tell me that maybe people don't know about 4271 and Mr. Richardville?
Well, there's two bills. There's 4271 for 3 years now, and then there's 5104, which is for the non-smokable forms of medical marijuana. We want patients to be able to use those tinctures, topical oils, rather than having to smoke it. I know I had a friend who was also a lobbyist who had a tracheotomy. He was dying from cancer and obviously didn't want to smoke marijuana, but it was wonderful for him to be able to put the liquid form in his feeding tube and help his nausea. So we certainly want the patients who aren't smoking it to have protection as well, just not for the buds of the plant to be legal. So that's a big piece. And I think that Senator Richardville is very sincere. I think he cares a lot about patients. And, you know, a lot of people came to testify in our last hearing last March. The parents of the kids that have the Dravet syndrome, I know Belinda was on your show. She's a close friend of mine.
Yes, ma'am.
Her testimony was just absolutely amazing. But it's really getting the patients in front of them to explain, you know, this was our last resort. We tried every single pharmaceutical drug, every diet, every alternative medicine we could think of, acupuncture, you name it, we tried it. And the only thing that was left was medical marijuana, and that was the only thing that helped. Those are the stories, I think, that changed the hearts and minds of the legislature. And, you know, it took a long time. I know people in the beginning told us we would never get it done. People laughed at us. But we ended up, you know, with a record vote in the House of Representatives with margins that were so, you know, bipartisan margins that were so great. I mean, 104 yes votes. That has never happened anywhere in the entire country on a medical marijuana bill. So that shows us that, you know, the hard work paid off, and Senator Richardville assured us that we will have a hearing and a vote in September, a committee vote, July 15th or 16th. We asked him what we could do to help prepare for that. We're not expecting they'll take any testimony. The last hearing they had, we had a lot of testimony. I don't think they need to go through that all over again, but they really did a fantastic job, and they definitely convinced them to get the votes that we need. So we're just looking forward to that hearing and the full vote in September.
Nice. We broadcast, just so you know, we broadcast to Monroe County Radio, which is Senator Randy Richardville home. So we, you know, we get the good information out there, and we're hoping to have him on in the near future. I've got Chelsea sitting here with me. She's got a quick question for you.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
Good. How are you, Chelsea?
I'm good. I just want to maybe leave this question open for you to answer. I know a lot of people have some questions on, is there expected to be any changes maybe that Richardville or his committee may come back at the hearing with, and how that may affect the work that's been done in the House, having to send that back over? Can you maybe elaborate on that real quick?
Well, I'm sure, you know, from what we've been told, they don't expect to, you know, totally rewrite the bill or anything, but there certainly will be some technical clarifications made, making sure the definitions match up.
Hey, Robin, we're going into break. If you'll sit with us, we'll wrap this up right after break, okay?
Sure.
All right.
The Skunk Works Show, powered by Iron Laboratories.
The real estate market is moving full speed ahead, so don't be left behind. Remember Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim Nowak with Century 21 Town & Country, and I'm here to help you whether you're buying your first home or thinking of selling and moving on up. Let me guide you in the right direction. Call me at 248-835-2992. Again, it's 248-835-2992, and my focus will be on your needs. Remember Kim.
At Iron Laboratories, our mission is to apply the highest scientific standards to the testing of medical marijuana and derivative cannabis-based products. Iron Laboratories achieves this through the strict application of and adherence to methodologies that have been developed in research, regulatory, and academic settings. Consumer safety directs everything we do at Iron Laboratories. Our role as providers of product information to patients, caregivers, and producers is critical. The purity of the medicines that you put in your body is critically important, and we value the trust you put in us to evaluate and accurately report on these products. In addition, Iron Laboratories will continue to contribute to the industry knowledge base, setting benchmarks and establishing norms to create safer cannabis products. Give us a call at 248-313-9000 or visit our website at ironlaboratories.com. Again, that's 248-313-9000, ironlaboratories.com.
Folks, here's some food for thought. Every year, over 400,000 people die of illness related to tobacco use. Over 80,000 die from alcohol use. Over 30,000 die from reactions related to prescription medication. And more than 7,000 people die from the use of anti-inflammatory drugs such as aspirin. Aspirin. Do you know how many die from the use of marijuana? 0. No deaths can be directly linked to the use of cannabis. That makes it one of the safest substances available for medical use. Michigan Organic Solutions, Flint's premier medical marijuana consultants, is now offering compassionate doctor referrals. Get licensed for only $99. You only pay if you qualify. No medical records are required. Located at 3549 South Dordt Highway, Suite 117, just across from the Dordt Mall. Call 810-820-8953 or go online to make your appointment at www.miorganicsolutions.com. Consultations are free and your privacy is guaranteed. Log on now to www.miorganicsolutions.com.
The Skunk Works Show, powered by Iron Laboratories.
Attention all units, attention all units, this is Sergeant Stadenko. Attention all units, this is Sergeant Stadenko. We are changing from a Code 3 direct pursuit to a Code 347. Completely lost due to incompetence.
All right, we're back with Robin with the National Patients' Rights Association. Robin, I'm sorry we had a commercial there, but if you want to pick up where you left off, that'd be great.
Certainly. So the question was, the amendment process in the upcoming hearing and if it'll be changed and things like that. And I'm sure there'll be some clarifications, but just like as the bills came through the House, there were several quick amendments, and I know we worked closely with CPU to make sure that, we negotiated on the same page and everything went quite well. Now, we don't, we work with a whole entire coalition of groups. We work hand in hand with Michigan ASA, Michigan Normal, and the Pediatric Cannabis Therapy Group. So we're constantly in this process in direct contact with them as the amendments are coming through so that we can make sure that we're advocating what their position is. So certainly we'll continue to operate the way we have all the way through, and I'm pretty confident that we'll come out okay in the end.
Definitely. It's definitely a solid bill, so you guys are doing a great job. Everyone appreciates it. Thanks a lot, Robin.
Thank you.
Robin, thank you so much. We need to get you in studio here in the near future, but I know you got to run. You've got a meeting with LEAP. Is that correct?
Oh, well, this week, Major Neil Franklin from Law Enforcement Against Prohibition is doing a tour in Detroit.
Nice.
And, we just have the utmost respect for the LEAP cops. They're just wonderful, wonderful men with a lot of experience. And so we're looking forward to his tour, and I'm here in Detroit to accompany him. So the National Patients' Rights Association sponsored their trip out. Nice. And I'm hoping that he'll be able to assist in the city of Detroit.
Excellent. Robin, thank you so much for being with us today. I'll be in contact shortly, and we'll get you in studio here in the next few weeks. You have a great day. Tell everybody we said hi from the Skunk Works Show.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. All right, up next we have Justin Jenkins with us on the phone. Real quick story. I met Justin in 2013 in Denver. I was there for the High Times Cannabis Cup. I met Justin on Friday night. We were doing some medicating on my buddy's balcony, and this kid put me down for 45 minutes with his dab. So Justin Jenkins is nobody to play with. Are you with us, Justin?
Yes, I'm here. How's it going, guys?
Real good. How's it going with you, Justin? You just came off another road trip from North Dakota, South Dakota, something like that?
Well, you pass through those to get to Minnesota.
Ah, Minnesota. Nice. I read something on Facebook that you left your dabs and your kit in the hotel room. Did that happen?
Yeah, some lucky person who probably has no idea what the hell they have in South Dakota now has a highly educated 10 mil dab.
Oh, my.
Carb cap and domeless.
Jeez.
Oh, my gosh.
And a hell of a nice butt of White Widow, too, I got to say.
What was the name of that hotel, by the way? Justin, you know, on this show we talk about Colorado this, Colorado that, Colorado. I'm sick of Colorado. Tell me what's going on in Washington. What's happening in Seattle?
Well, I mean, I'm down in actually Oregon.
Oh, well, there's some good stuff in Oregon, too. You guys had a bunch of ballot petitions go to your Secretary of State this week, right?
I think so. Actually, man, I was just reading one of my friends, good guy out here. They're sending in the signatures. We got over 140,000, if my memory probably does not serve me correct, but I think that's where it is for our initiative.
That's the numbers that we had as well. That's remarkable.
I know, my gosh. That is, okay, I worked heavily with M34, and that was back when I was working with Cannabis Connection out here. And we had done a lot of work trying to get that out there, and it was pulling teeth in some places. And I'm not going to lie, I was feeling kind of a little panicked by this spring. I had not seen any initiative forms. I had not gotten any calls. It really wasn't popping up on my Facebook threads or my, social media threads. And then all of a sudden this, and wow, I couldn't believe it. I was actually shocked.
So what do you know about what's going on, though, in Seattle right now? They also had to vote like Colorado. Are people free to use cannabis recreational yet? Is it on hold? What's their situation? What do you know about that?
Well, basically, okay, it's like this. The way I like to look at it right now, it's like imagine a horse race. You got a bunch of people in the stands sitting there smoking freely. They can sit and watch, wait, and just chill. But as long as they're sitting in the stands, aka their homes. And then you have the businesses that are lined up at the starting gate, and they're thoroughbreds ready to just be released from the gate here in July when the laws go into effect. So basically, it's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell. Somehow, when you cross through the gate into the stadium, you acquired your legal in-home cannabis. They don't know how you got in your hands. But it's supposed to be from the guys that are being held back at the gate.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm under the impression Washington, although it being passed, they're having sort of a hard time implementing the whole process. I heard sometime this summer. What's the word on that? Do you know?
Well, as far as the actual implementation, I know there's been a lot of infighting of, okay, it's the same thing that happens on a macrocosm that happens in the microcosm up in Washington. You know, special interests got their influence in, and then the powerful voice of the actual people, the ones who, frankly got the laws voted on, are also wanting their own direction. And unfortunately, I think special interests keep flashing dollar signs a lot more, and they're starting to look like, the licensing and stuff like that is harder to come by, and the costs are pretty extravagant. But here's where the funny thing I find is that where it gets crazy is that there's not going to be enough cannabis. There's reports now that I've been reading about, and I got some friends up there telling me that they're worried about there actually being enough cannabis because they're supposed to be swapping some from the medical industry within state. Well, the medical industry does not usually have bumper crops. It's mostly indoor.
Sure.
So where's it going to come from?
Should be interesting to see. Is there any sort of cultivation standard for the recreational implementation? How do you guys anticipate that playing out?
I don't know that much as yet. I did not get into the specifics of the actual growing of it, the amounts. I really can't comment with any accuracy really on that.
Well, hopefully they will figure that out at some point.
Why?
Can't really legalize without the crop, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, come on, this is bipolar America. You know, they like to give these most liberal laws no teeth a lot of times by gutting them. True. You know, it happens a lot with a lot of things. I see that constantly.
We've got a medical cup coming up here in July. Do you think you're going to make it out to Michigan for our medical cup, High Times Cannabis Medical Cup?
Oh, I would love to. I'd love to. I'm very knee deep in my glass business. I do.
Are you still with the Cultivator? Are you still writing with them?
I am actually. I just had 2 articles recently in their latest issue.
Ooh, I will have to check them out.
Yeah, I did one recently I thought was pretty funny. It's called Bangers and Hash. Kind of a soliloquy explaining to the public that, there's 2 types of cannabis user out there, and we need to stray away from the one. Mm-hmm. We have the Rihannas of the world that can just get on with their life, walk around with their pet blunts, and just act like nothing's happened. It's just casual. It's like, you see pictures of people at clubs, and they're asking what they're wearing in magazines, not what kind of drink they have in their hands. Mm-hmm. But then you have the Miley Cyruses who walk around in pot-covered leotards, also with the giant words MDMA flashing behind them. Kind of gives a mixed message,
Sure, yeah. There's definitely a certain way to go about that.
Exactly.
Cool. Justin, I do appreciate the chance that we had to talk with you. I'm hoping that we can do this in the near future again, if that's okay.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're still with the Cultivator. Maybe I'll get with you after the show when we're not on air and see what we can do about making some arrangements. Maybe you can get out here for the cup at the end of the month. And so I'll be talking to you after the show. We'll definitely have you come back and report on what's going on in Oregon and Washington. You're our West Coast liaison going forward, okay?
Excellent. I love it.
All right, Jenkins, you have a great day. Thanks for your time, and we will be back with Stacy. And we have Stacy from the Cannabis. Stacy, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm excellent. I actually have Chelsea, Alicia, and Melissa with us. We talked about the fireworks at the beginning of the show. Were you in Detroit on Monday?
Yes, I was on the roof up by Cannabis Council watching them. It was
saw us
my
waving.
anniversary in Michigan.
You saw us waving at you from Windsor, right?
What?
You saw us wave to you from Windsor, right?
I did. I was waving. I was hoping you saw me through all that smoke.
I was whistling. I'm sure you heard me, though. I was like, woo, Stacy. It was
all the firework noise.
It
was
great.
awesome.
So what's new? What's on your agenda for this week?
Just keep working on getting the shirt spots filled up so we can get the bus done. We got the engine, so that's being picked up. And she's actually, I know, I'm excited. So she's
Who was the person that got the engine for you?
What?
Who got that engine for you?
Oh, just through, we have the sponsors on the T-shirt that we're filling up. We need 20 to 25 sponsors for all the repairs, and with the handful of sponsors we already got, we could afford the engine. So
nice.
It's so nice to hear.
Are you headed to Washington?
Now I said go ahead and go get the engine and start repairing with all the confidence in the world that we'll be able to pick her up when it's time. So before High Times Cup.
Excellent. We're actually headed into break. We had a little trouble getting a hold of you, so our time's a little short. We'll definitely check in with you next week. But we do have good news going forward. This bus is going to be on the road soon.
Powered by Iron Laboratories.
Folks, here's some food for thought. Every year, over 400,000 people die of illness related to tobacco use. Over 80,000 die from alcohol use. Over 30,000 die from reactions related to prescription medication. And more than 7,000 people die from the use of anti-inflammatory drugs such as aspirin. Aspirin. Do you know how many die from the use of marijuana? 0. No deaths can be directly linked to the use of cannabis. That makes it one of the safest substances available for medical use. Michigan Organic Solutions, Flint's premier medical marijuana consultants, is now offering compassionate doctor referrals. Get licensed for only $99. You only pay if you qualify. No medical records are required. Located at 3549 South North Highway, Suite 117, just across from the Dord Mall. Call 810-820-8953 or go online to make your appointment at www.miorganicsolutions.com. Consultations are free and your privacy is guaranteed. Log on now to www.miorganicsolutions.com.
The real estate market is moving full speed ahead, so don't be left behind. Remember Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim Nowak with Century 21 Town and Country, and I'm here to help you whether you're buying your first home or thinking of selling and moving on up. Let me guide you in the right direction. Call me at 248-835-2992. Again, it's 248-835-2992, and my focus will be on your needs. Remember Kim.
At Iron Laboratories, our mission is to apply the highest scientific standards to the testing of medical marijuana and derivative cannabis-based products. Iron Laboratories achieves this through the strict application of and adherence to methodologies that have been developed in research, regulatory, and academic settings. Consumer safety directs everything we do at Iron Laboratories. Our role as providers of product information to patients, caregivers, and producers is critical. The purity of the medicines that you put in your body is critically important, and we value the trust you put in us to evaluate and accurately report on these products. In addition, Iron Laboratories will continue to contribute to the industry knowledge base, setting benchmarks and establishing norms to create safer cannabis products. Give us a call at 248-313-9000 or visit our website at ironlaboratories.com. Again, that's 248-313-9000, ironlaboratories.com.
The Skunk Works Show, powered by Iron Laboratories.
All right, you have sat in with another episode of the Skunk Works Show. We will be here next week. Everybody have a great 4th of July week. It's not a weekend, it's actually on Friday, so have a great 4th of July. This has been a No Whack Media production. Thank you for sitting in. Thank you, Chelsea, Alicia, and Melissa.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Ryan. Bye.
Happy 4th.
Happy.
Smell that? What is it? The Skunk Works Show, giving you a scent of the truth.
Live every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. on WFNT.
News from the 420 Underground.
It's the Skunk Works Show.
Do you smell that? What is it? The Skunk Works Show, giving you a scent of the truth.
Live every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. on Monroe County Radio.
News from the 420 Underground.
It's the Skunk Works Show.